Hey everybody, welcome back. Of course, it's tire testing weekend and we are doing a whole bunch of reviews. And right now we're looking at the Proline Flat Iron XL in G8 compound. This is a tire that I've never run before, but I have very high hopes. I want it to do really good. And although I'm not the biggest fan of Proline tires, I really want to like this tire because I've run the Class 1 flat iron, the original flat iron back in the day. It was like just slightly above Class 1 size. I think it was 4.2 inches. But I always liked those tires, and I always wished they were bigger. And so I'm hoping the Flat Iron XL does well because I love the way it looks, and I want it to do good. But we shall see right now. Flat Iron XLs come in at about $64 for a set of 4. And of course, as with everything, we throw away the foam that comes in the tire. In this case, it is a very soft single stage open cell that collapses way too easily. And right now I'm running Three Brothers 3D inserts in these dual stage 3D inserts. Regardless of how this review goes, I'm probably going to run these again, at least for my own sake, maybe not on camera, with Crawler Innovations foams, because I like those better than I like 3D inserts. But I ran out of CI foams with all the tires that I was loading up for this weekend, and this is what I had, so that's what I'm running in them. A little more side slip than I would like to see with the flat iron, but I immediately went for the steeper angle on the side hill. And although there's some slip, it's not terrible, and I'm still... Spoke a little too soon. I was gonna say, oh man, we're just rolling further and further down. I was gonna say, able to reposition successfully and not cause any issues, but then we rolled out. However, we're gonna try that again because that is a very uneven rock, and 1 time might be driver error, 2 times probably the tire. All right, back up on the rock. Here we go for round 2. Gonna try to take that same line again. 1 more time before we take the higher line. The higher line being above this crack in the rock right there. Below that crack, the side hill is steeper. The turn up is more dangerous. Above that crack, you do run the risk of sliding into the crack, and then that can kind of upset the suspension and cause you to roll out, but it's not near as steep. And so there's less side sliding typically going on. This line that I'm approaching, that's not. The rear settled down into that crack, and that's not good because now I'm getting side bite and it's wanting to pull the passenger front up. Let's go real slow. This line that the front tire is coming up on right now, I like to try to get past that line before I turn up too much. But we're going to turn up right now just slightly, just enough to kind of combat the side slip. And then once we get across it, going very slow, very, very, very fine throttle input here. Now we're going to turn up a little more. I want the rear to slide out, not the front. I want the front to grip and the rear to slide, but only slowly. There we go. That's happening. Okay. That Fusion Pro really allows you to just super slow crawl that thing. Okay, now we're hitting, this is a problem. This is what happened last time. Driver side front is in that crack, and as I go forward, it's wanting to pick up the passenger side of the truck. So we're going to straighten out and try to just drive straight over that crack. Nope. Settle down, settle. Can we settle? Oh, it's going to come up. Can I come back? Yes. I need rear to slide, so what do I need to do? I need to turn up more, not less. There we go. Uneven surfaces are fun. Very unpredictable sometimes. Even with the best tires, the surface can just really mess with you. And this obstacle, most of the obstacles out here are actually worse than they look on camera. Now, none of them, oh, there's a roll. None of them are extremely hard, but they're almost all harder than they look. And like, the nice thing about sandstone is it's a high grip surface. So it kind of allows a tire to perform as well as it's going to perform. But a downside to sandstone is the way it erodes, you get a lot of this pocketing. And out here, it causes a lot of issues, especially when side hilling. So we're going to go above the line now. Okay. And cross that line where we turn up. Oh, that still might roll out. Let's straighten out. Rear tire getting caught in that crack, causing the front passenger to lift. Now I need the rear to just pivot. Just slide and pivot. There you go. There you go. That's what we need. Okay. That's not bad. Like I said, that lower line is the much more difficult line. There's a lot more you have to contend with there. That squeaking, if you can hear it, is the rear tire rubbing on the body. That's a little concerning, actually. Is that just because it's under load, or did something break on one of those rollouts? I might need to pause and check it here. Let's see. Had several breaks on this obstacle. This is the only obstacle, actually, that since I've started recording and testing, I don't see anything broken. I think we're okay. I think these are just kind of a taller tire. I don't get a lot of rubbing on this truck is why I was a little concerned. But this obstacle has claimed 2 rod ends so far with rollouts. I'm sure it'll claim more in the future and other things, as this is definitely the one that we roll off the most. And our next obstacle, wet or dry. Kind of a new obstacle this weekend. This obstacle is called wet or dry because depending on the level of the water in the lake, the obstacle is either partially wet or it's completely dry. But we've had a decent amount of rain out here recently, and so now my normal wet or dry obstacle is 100% underwater. Like, it's several feet underwater. And so instead what we're doing is we're going to come here and we just drive here through 2 to 3 inches of water here. This is to get the tires wet, and we can at least still test wet performance of the tire. So the obstacle is not quite as difficult because of the bypass line we have to take. We don't have as good of a hill to climb, but we can at least still get those tires wet and test wet performance somewhat. And things like that are just part of what you contend with when you crawl in nature, especially at a lake or a body of water. Sometimes your course is going to change slightly due to weather, or in this case, sometimes because it's a public area. Sometimes people come out and, you know, they either walk in a rock moves, or maybe they deliberately move it so they can make a chair to fish off of, or stuff happens. But I seem to be able to make it out here just often enough to remember how the obstacles are supposed to be, at least for the most part, so I can reset and rebuild. And, you know, honestly, if you have to find a different obstacle, you have to find a different obstacle. On here, we need the rear tires to hook the lip of this rock and just push her right up there. But as we've been seeing a lot, especially since we started testing tires wet, most of the time we have found that tires require a little bit of wheel speed to bump up. Ooh, is that an eagle? Just a hawk. Ooh, not pretty. That bump was wild. Flat irons are not a predictable tire, as far as bumping goes anyway. And slides off. Oh, come on. Forward drive seems decent, but definitely got some issues here. Very few tires just fail this obstacle. But the flat iron's not really giving me a lot of traction to do much here. Nope, and then it rolls off. This will be the last chance, I think. Usually if you come on at this angle, it's easier, but the flat iron's really struggling for traction here on flat ground. I mean, we've got uneven rocks and stuff here, and we've got quite a bit of loose dirt, but we don't have a lot of traction. Tires are not wet anymore. Lugs are not loaded, but they're dirty. Yeah, just not a lot of I don't know, not a lot of grip. So I set it up on the obstacle, but that is what we call a fail. A little bit surprised by that, just because you don't see a whole lot of tires just completely fail that obstacle. It is a lot more difficult than it looks, but I don't know what it is with the flat irons not being able to do it. They couldn't find any traction on that loose dirt. Is this one of those tires that gets better as it goes? That is kind of a stereotype with Proline G8. And you know, they're kind of that weird milky cloudy color, and people say that that's the mold release and it needs to drive and kind of scrub some of that off before they start performing really well. Maybe there's some truth to that, but I wouldn't think that it would all of a sudden just become, okay, there we go, now it's so grippy. But I guess I'm just a little flabbergasted that it couldn't make it up that obstacle. I mean, lug-wise, it looks like it should do fine. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Proline, but I think they're okay. Mostly I think they're overpriced, and I don't like that Horizon owns them now. The next couple obstacles are going to be the real test. Yeah, they don't have a lot of forward grip, if I'm being honest. Oh, shit. Okay. This is where I'm not used to the throttle that I have available now with that Fusion Pro. Before, I had a 1200 Fusion SE, and I liked how slow it was when I was just crawling for me. But with the videos, I wanted to be able to do more trail tests and stuff if necessary, so I wanted a little more wheel speed. But my muscle memory in my trigger finger needs to reset. This is the first weekend that I've driven the Fusion Pro. Okay, now that looks okay. Well, at first it did. No, don't tip over. Nope, don't tip over. Now I've got a bad angle. That rear tire is getting wrapped between the rock and a tree root and trying to flip it over backwards. There we go. No, thought we were going to have it. There we go. That's good. See, that's really good. There's a lot of tires that can't pull like that. What a confusing tire. Ooh, see, that's not great. Let's struggling right there. It's not bad, but now it gets me in a bad position where we have pumpkin hang up. So unpredictable is a word that I would use to describe the flat iron. But I still want to like them so much. I kind of want these to be the daily driver on this rig, even though I've got like 10 sets of fossils for it, which fossils are the current daily driver. But I just love the way these tires look. And my memory of the original flat irons is that they're pretty good. Not like the best tire ever, but I just want to like these. But they're super unpredictable. And I don't really know. I mean, is there some truth to this whole, they need to scrub in and they need to like scrub that mold release compound off? I don't know. This may be, we'll see how this does finishing up the course. We're about halfway, but this could be a tire that I have to run for a while more. Let's see if I can learn it and get used to it, or if it changes, because it's confusing me a lot. Okay, that's decent. Let's see if we can hook the side lug. Oh, a lot of slip back. No, that's not good. Wheel speed to get up. Too much wheel speed. I don't know, guys. You know how sometimes you just want to like something and you don't even know why? I really want this tire to do well. Flat irons, weirdly, are also only available in G8. Most of Proline's tires are available in G8 and Predator. I think that's kind of weird. I'm not sure why that it's like that. Okay. All right, well, wheel speed, they kind of do the thing. Do these really just like wheel speed? I don't like that. I don't like tires that need wheel speed. I'm a slow throttle guy. I like crawling. I don't like bashing. I don't like trail driving. I don't like going fast with a crawler. I mean, I like my LMT and I like my short course trucks, but I like my crawlers to crawl. And so if this tire needs wheel speed to perform, it's not going to be the one. Well, it did the obstacle, but I don't like the way it did it. But the thing is, I'm still just not sure about the flat irons. I'm pretty curious how they would perform with a different insert, like how a crawler innovations would compare to the 3D insert that's in them. I don't think the 3D insert is necessarily causing problems, but curiosity is pulling at me. All right, let's see how it does here. I don't even know what to think. I think we're going to see too much bouncing because of the 3D insert and because the lugs, or because the tire doesn't have a massive amount of grip. So I think we're going to see too much bouncing, and I think we're going to see a requirement of wheel speed to get up here. There's a little bouncing. It's not bad yet. Not taking wheel speed, actually handling low throttle input pretty well. Although I slow down and it slips back a little. I need passenger front to get up over on this little nipple that it's kind of stuck on. I can't turn. There we go. Can't turn toward the tree because I'll get stuck on it. There we go. Okay. I can't do super low speed or it slips back. And it doesn't love the unevenness of this rock, the uneven surface. It doesn't love uneven surface. But if we shuttle the front back and forth, we can find a line. I have no doubt. There we go. There's our line. there's something about it. There's something about it that I like, and there's something about it that I don't like. And it's one of those tires that I want to try to make it better, but I don't know if it actually can be better. Because it's not one that you're going to make better with lug work. It's not one that you're going to make better with, like, I don't know, the weird shit people do to tires. I want to try. Ooh, okay. Let me put the camera down for a sec so I can drive. Try to hold that. I want to try a different insert, because honestly, I think it needs something a little stiffer. I think these 3D inserts might be too soft for it. So I think I want to try crawler innervation mediums all the way around, and the big ones, the 475s with tuning rings attached. And then I think I might drive them for a while and see if this is one of those tires that actually does get significantly better as it breaks in. To me, it's such a kind of a coping thing to be like, well, you got to scrub them in and they get better. But I mean, that comes from somewhere. I think there's some tires where that's true. I don't think it's true of most tires. Front links get hung on the edge of this rock, and what you need is enough traction to be able to gain wheel speed to bump it over on this rock in a short distance, and I'm not having it. There we go. Come on, there we go. No, come on, get off the skid. There we go. Whew, I'm starting to sweat. It's getting hot. Okay, that's decent. They are bagging out a fair amount, and I kind of don't think that's. I don't think they like it. I think a stiffer insert is needed. That's what we're gonna try. So I'm gonna run these again with a stiffer insert. I don't know if I'll do that on camera or not. I'm gonna run them for a while. I think on this truck as the daily driver with some stiffer inserts. And if something revolutionary happens, I'll do a follow-up review. Because at this point, it's for my own curiosity. It's because I want to like this tire. Ooh, what do I think of the flat iron? I don't know what I think of the flat iron. This tire is unpredictable, and I can't get a good read on whether I like it or not. It didn't do great today, but it also didn't do bad. What a weird tire. So what about you? Should you buy the flat iron? Well, if you look at just the cost of it, no. There's tires that cost less and perform better. But if you're like me and you really, 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 really like the look of this tire, I want to see what it can do. So maybe hold off for now and stay tuned. I'm going to run this tire on this truck just through a couple of just rock crawling sessions by myself with a different insert in it. And we're going to try to break them in, and we're going to see if a different insert performs better. And then I'll do a follow-up video on it. If it performs better, I'll do a review. If it doesn't, I'll probably just do a quick, 5-minute just talking about it. But either way, stay tuned. I'm going to do that. I might do that this weekend if I have time. I would hold off on purchasing for now, unless you love the look of these. But I want this tire to do good. But I'm pretty skeptical as to whether it can be. So, until next time, everybody, have a good one.